today's video is going to be what I read in July and August. So I'm going to start with this book. So this one is A Gathering Lights. This was very different to what I'm used to reading. I think as I did book updates, I was be aware of topics that might be triggering, so just be aware. Skip ahead if you need to skip ahead. So if George Clooney had walked into the room, this is based on a real murder at the turn of the century. This outstanding debut novel's powerful, moving coming-of-age book. Mattie is torn between her familiar responsibilities and her desire to be a writer and excitement of a first romance. Her dilemmas and choices are quietly reflected in the life of a young woman found drowned in the lake, and a woman that Mattie only gets to know through reading her letters. When the final tale of Mattie and drowned girl merge, their stories become beautifully combined, a brilliant combination. This is very different. I do not read these kind of books. These are the only two books I've read that are similar, that are darker in theme. I don't normally read dark books. I normally read quite happy books, and I'm very much fiction, adults fiction. I'm very much happy books. I'm not really dark murder books. I'm not this kind of book. I've obviously read people's biographies that have darker subject matters, but this I don't normally read this kind of book. Then we have George Orwell, The Bernie's Days. This was the last book of George Orwell's that I had to read that was on my shelf. I think you can probably see if I move myself out of the way more. But in this corner I have George Orwell, 1984, Animal Farm, Keep the Pedestrian Flying, coming up for it. I've reread these two and probably reread Animal Farm again. But this I really like. George Orwell's books are always a time in history. A point in history that he lived through. So it's lived experiences, history in a more fiction way, which I really do enjoy. So it's when Flurry, a white timber merchant behind India's Dr. Valsamar, he defines orthodox in Burma under colonial rule. The doctor is in danger. UPO Calvin, a corrupt Stigate, is plotting his downfall. The only thing that can save him is membership of the all-white club. This is obviously a very different point in history to the point we're in now. Florrie's life is changed further by arrival of the beautiful Elizabeth Blackstein from Paris, who offers an escape from the loneliness and the life of the colonial life. So it's in the time of the colonial rule and that. Based on experience as a police officer in Burma, George Orwell's first novel presents a devastating picture of British imperial rule. It describes corruption and bigotry in society where after all natives were natives, interests no doubt, but family and fellow people. So it's based on George Orwell's experiences and things, which I really do like. I liked every book I've read. So it's kind of my George Orwell section. We've just got Lady Sings the Blues there. So it's another good book. I really enjoyed it. I read this on vacation and that. This one I started before my vacation and then read and finished on vacation. This is F. Scott Fitzgerald, Tenders the Night. I liked this. I am a fan of my other book I have of her, which is The Great Gatsby. I really like The Great Gatsby. They're both set in like the same kind of time frame, like the 1920s, the time of the Flapper Girls and that sort of time frame. I think it was. Let me just check something before I like say things wrong. Kind of like sort of around the time of like the Great Depression and that. But this one's kind of almost like rich and glamour of the 1920s. The French Riviera in the 1920s is discovered by Dick and Nicole Diver, who turn into the playground of rich and glamour. Among the circle in Rosemary Halter, the beautiful Scarlett, who falls in love with Dick and is enraptured by Nicole, a wave of corruption and dark secrets that haunt their marriage. So this is like being cheated on and that. When Dick becomes entangled with Rosemary, he fractures the delicate structure of his relationship with Nicole, and the lust of their life together brings to tarnish. Tender as the Night is an exquisite novel that reflects not only Fitzgerald's own personal tragedy, but also the shattered idealism of society in which he lives. So this is kind of like rich society in like the 1920s and that, and relationships. It's got Fitzgerald's like using their own experience, which I do enjoy that. And the book just fell off my lap. This one also like kind of lives there, so I kind of have like my George Orwell section, and I have Tender as the Night on the shelf there. And then Billie Holiday, Lady Sings the Blues. Then I started this book, I hadn't finished. So I like started this in like end of June, beginning of July. This is on like pop art, so I will probably finish this at some point. It'll probably go into my October TBR, because obviously I'm doing the book challenge at the moment, so this is kind of a bit of an update of the books I've read. This is a book on like pop art, like I wanted to know more about pop art, so I like got this book, Andy Warhol's biography I got, and another Andy Warhol book, because I wanted to like know more about him, because I was like really interested in Andy Warhol. I'm also really interested in like pop art. Like pop art I think is so good. Like there's pictures in here, like so many different pictures. Put my bookmark back in. I like this book. It's kind of a shorter one, but that's kind of what like the images look like. Like I really enjoy it. It like shows pop art. It talks about like the art movement, because obviously pop art was like an art movement, and it was like an important art movement of the 21st century. It brought every day into like modernism to the mass, made art sexy, glamorous, fun by focusing on Coke cans, film stars, comics. Like it's about pop art and that. I think I'm on like chapter 2. She wasn't still in like chapter 1. I thought it was chapter 2, but I haven't really read that far in yet, so I'm still at chapter 1. Kind of just sits there, so that's where I put it. Then currently what I'm reading is this big book, Andy Warhol's Diary. It's one where Andy Warhol kept a diary faithfully from November 1976 up to his final week in February 1987, like written at the height of fame and success. Records of the fun of the Academy Awards, party nights, studio, 54 trips between London and Paris and New York, and surprisingly even money spent each day down to the cent. And then reference to everyone who he met, from Jim Morrison, Martha Navatonia, Calvin Klein to Shirley Bassey, Estee Lauder, Muhammad Ali, It's like the most glamorous thing, like seeing everything. Like, I had no idea he met some of these people. So I'm currently at page 200 on like the end of like June the 11th, 1978. My vlogs do keep like updating, like I do nearly daily book updates. Like in my introducing clip, I always sort of do like a book update because usually I've like read the night before. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.